We are living in the craziest times I think humans have ever lived through. And I'd give credit to social media and the internet for connecting us while simultaneously disconnecting us more than ever, which is done on purpose. I think people are starting to wake up now, and people have always been awake to it, but more than ever, I think people are starting to wake up to the realization that the system that we're in right now is not sustainable. I've been going into daily life, just going outside, going to the shops, just doing the average things that people do. And it's like the realization and the awakening never stops. You never get to a point where you're awake and you know everything that's going on. It's more like every single day it gets worse. The realization gets deeper, darker, and more terrifying that we have been practically lied to our whole lives about everything. And it's almost ridiculous how we've let this happen. This whole Epstein stuff, look, this is everything that's coming out in the Epstein stuff, it's controlled. Okay, if they didn't want you to know about it, we wouldn't know about it. There's a revelation that is happening and people are waking up, but whether it's a genuine revelation and a genuine unfolding of events or whether it's controlled, I couldn't tell you, but they've hid it for this long. It's just funny to me that now they're deciding to open up about it. And yeah, people are waking up. It's waking people up, but it's not doing good. If anything, it's just creating more fear, which is exactly what the system thrives on, is our cooperation and fear. And if you're in the know about some deeper level stuff like 2030 and the New World Order, they want to collapse this system that we're currently in to give birth to a new system, like the rise of the Phoenix, order out of chaos, the main Freemasonic saying. It's their favourite, one of their favourites. And previous to the Epstein stuff, we've already seen the fabrication of the left and right paradigms and the American government purposely splitting the American people and dividing the American people for their agendas. It is a good thing that people are waking up that it's two wings of the same bird. There's no such thing as left and right. Your vote doesn't matter. And even if it did matter, you never got to choose who was even a candidate in the first place. Like just things like this, you start to unravel that, man, we never really had a choice in the matter. But I'd say beware about truth that is coming out, because the people that operate in darkness and do evil things, they don't just do darkness. They also fabricate themselves as being good, as angels of light, if you want to use the metaphorical principle of Lucifer. The old saying that the devil doesn't come with a pitchfork and horns. He comes as one of the most beautiful angels there is. And I think that's very important to understand when looking at reality. And I think it's a dangerous thing to believe that you're awake and to think that you've got it all figured out when really that was a part of the devil's plan the whole time. Is it a good thing people are waking up? Absolutely. Is it headed towards some sort of other agenda? Most likely, absolutely. It's been a tough time for people that have been awake to all of this kind of stuff, like satanic ritual abuse, just in the know about, how these people work. 4 years ago, if you talked about it, and many did, but they got scrubbed off the internet so fast. I can't tell you how many channels that I knew of that just got blacklisted, that got pushed right out of YouTube. But all those main channels with interconnective people stayed, and they were kind of, spilling half-truths, like Russell Brand or Alex Jones. And a massive problem I see is that there is definitely controlled opposition, not only in the politics world, but also in the truth world. A lot of these people spilling truths and really talking about what's going on, and that have stayed on YouTube and haven't been kicked off like everybody else was, that was really genuinely like throwing everyone under the bus, because everyone was deserving of being thrown under the bus. Those people that stayed, it's dangerous to trust them. Very dangerous. Chances are, if they have stayed on YouTube since COVID, if they have been allowed to post on YouTube and haven't been scrubbed a million times, then they are most likely controlled opposition. Now, regarding pedophilia and satanic ritual abuse, this has been happening as far as human beings have been in societies. This has been happening for thousands of years. It never stopped happening. Just because we built systems and societies, it does not mean that it ever stopped. In fact, it got worse. It got worse. Everything evolves. The whole purpose of life is to evolve. And I'm not talking about the evolution in terms of turning one animal into a completely entire new animal. What I'm talking about is mental evolution, growing. We can all say that things grow and want to grow. Well, as light grows, darkness also grows. Now, darkness is the very thing that holds our system in place. Our society is fueled by ego, narcissism, it's fueled by materialism, it's fueled by the very things that bring destruction and pain. It's not genuine. Finding genuineness these days is hard to find. And that can make you, when you're sensitive and aware to things, I think that can really make you feel like you're going to go loopy. And the craziest part is that the people that have been saying all these things the whole time were never loopy. They were actually the sane ones. The loopy people were the people that couldn't handle the truth, that were in cognitive dissonance. And many people will still be in cognitive dissonance, even with this Epstein stuff. A lot of people might say, get over it. You can't control it. What are you going to do about it? Or, oh yeah, because most people don't want to handle it. And that's understandable. It's stress, like life's stressful enough as it is. And if you're not willing to be aware about certain things, then that can be just an overload, and people are going to naturally tend to just kind of drift away from it. There has to be kind of like a healthy line that you stay on where you're aware of what's going on, but you don't dissolve yourself into it, because what you consume consumes you. If you're constantly looking at the Epstein stuff, if you're constantly looking into the darkness, then it's not going to bring happiness to you. It's just going to bring fear and anxiety. And that's the very thing this system feeds off of, which is why it's so suspicious they're releasing it now. So 2030 was the given date of many talking heads for the Great Reset, New World Order. And we're getting pretty close. What do we have? 6? We have 4 years until their date, really. And it's just funny that all of this is happening, so close to that date. It just feels like they're trying to purposely put strain on the system, collapse trust, collapse belief, especially with YouTube. You don't even know what you're watching anymore. AI has gotten so good, like you can't even, Like, I thought it would be a while before we had videos that could not be told. Like, I thought it was ages away, but it's not. I watched a video yesterday, and I'm pretty good at, like, decoding things. I'm pretty good at being on the ball with what's fake and what's real. And I saw in the comments, one bloke said, "This is AI." And I said, "There's no way that's AI." And yeah, it was AI. Once I rewatched the video and I really paid attention, and it was 100% AI. And I just couldn't believe how real it was. And that's scary, because that means that there's now even more control over our minds and the way we see things. In other words, a healthy rule to live by is anything that you see on a screen, don't trust it, really. And it's scary because our screens are the biggest drug and the most dangerous drug there is, because it purposely manipulates. You know, if you take a substance and you're addicted to that substance, it's not purposely trying to manipulate you. Whereas the dopamine you get off of your phone through social media, there is usually an agenda behind what you're seeing on your feed. And even more dangerously, it's socially accepted. No one's speaking out against it. Everyone needs one. They've made it that way. If you want to participate in society, you need that little block in your pocket. And most people, if they don't have their block in their pocket, they're going to freak out. What is that? It's a drug, because it feeds off of the same dopamine reward system as every other drug does. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just venting, just talking. It's hard to live in this society. It's really hard, and especially with isolation and being around other people, mostly that don't know or just don't care. You know, it's almost like they're drones. But I want to be careful saying that, because the moment that we say, you know, they're asleep or we're causing separation, and that's the very thing that we're claiming to hate. So we should not be doing it. I've seen so many people talking about this Epstein stuff and bragging pretty much. "Oh, I've known about this the whole time. I've been saying this the whole time," and welcome normies. And it's just like, that's just ego. Like, we should be happy that people are waking up to it. We should be caring. We understood how hard it was waking up to this on our own. So having new people waking up to it they should feel safe, and they should feel included into learning new information, and they should feel, most of all, support. They should feel the support that we never got. We shouldn't be putting them down for just coming to the realization now, or just awakening now. We're not above them. We're not above anybody. So anybody that watches this video and you're new to all of this thinking and awareness, I welcome you with open arms. And yeah, it's a brutal road. It's really hard, but it's kind of like, would you prefer to be asleep and be controlled your whole life? And the cost is that you're never fully aware in the present moment. You're forever zoning out, just being a drone. Or would you prefer to be awake and in turn learn to really come to terms with things, love yourself, build resilience, and see yourself as a bigger part of this picture rather than separate to everything? You know, because this system feeds off of separation. It feeds off of the idea that we are separate to nature and everything that's going on, and we're not. Humans are we're in a great awakening phase, and it's not going to be like in the Hollywood movies where everyone just starts awakening and it just pops off. It's going to be a slow awakening for individuals and certain parts of society, but not everybody will awaken. A lot of people will stay asleep, and I've talked about this in a previous video, going over how there's going to be a natural divide between people that want to stay in their comfortability headspace and people that are waking up and want to pursue making meaning of their lives and connecting, and really just having a look at the state that we're in. Because if you wake up to this stuff and you go out into society, it's a terrible state. It feels wrong. It's just, I've lived my whole life just feeling like something's wrong, and little did I know I was right. It just took information and learning to figure that out, that what we're living in is just plain wrong. In terms of the very celebrities and politicians and everybody that has been compromised by the darkness, I think it's important that we show, and this is the hardest part, is compassion. Because if we as a collective, or even as an individual, look at these people and feel nothing but hatred, and that hate, they don't feel that hatred, only we do, and we're going to get lost in that. And how can we hate them and show hate towards them when the very idea and the very reason that we don't align with them is because we don't like that they are hateful and they can do hateful things? It's hypocrisy. It's like if you see your child hitting his sister and you hit him for hitting his sister because you didn't like it, then it's hypocrisy. It's the very same thing. And I think that what helps is realizing that everybody is not born evil. A human child is the closest thing that we have to the Spirit of God. It's innocence. And a mother will tell you the same thing. The reason the celebrities do these things is because they have lost their innocence, and maybe their innocence has been taken. And you can get to a point where you lose yourself completely and act out on consumption, ego, and darkness. And I've used this metaphor. I've studied a bit of psychology and this idea. So let's say, for example, a man discovers pornography for the first time. He watches a video, and he watches that video, for example, maybe for a few weeks, and then he gets bored. He gets bored of the content and he moves to something else, okay? He moves on to the next thing. It could be more extreme. And then he'll do that for a bit, and then that's not cutting it. He'll go more extreme. It's just dopamine. More extreme, more extreme, more extreme. Okay, now that's just an average person in society. Imagine if you are a billionaire or even a millionaire, and you have an indescribable amount of money, of power, of wealth. And you can get any hot chick you want, anytime, any day of the week, and you fill yourself up with that, and then you start wondering what's next. That is a slippery slope, and people in the society that we're in, which is the working class, okay, the bottom of the barrel, the people that are in this society, like you and me, we can't comprehend that would even be a possibility, that someone could go that dark, because we've been taught, and we've been, we work in groups. We're social creatures. We're always coming into contact with each other. Now, the people at the very top that are hooked in power and greed, they have their own society. And their society is very different to ours. They're not with us. Let's just say that. They're not with us. Sometimes they visit us. Maybe they go to a mall or go down the street, but they are not a part of the way we've been grown up. They were maybe at some point in their lives, or a lot of them were actually born into this society, this secret society. But it's not so secret anymore. So their society, which is filled with ego, power, you name it, just darkness. Their beliefs, the way that they think, their morals, their awareness is completely different to us. It's not like us. And they incorporate the darkness almost 150%. So hopefully it makes a bit of sense of how someone can fall into that trap. A lot of people that weren't born into that society through bloodline or through indoctrination as a child, a lot of them have spoken out, but they usually end up dead from suicide or some tragic accident. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, it does, but it's important to know about it all. And this Epstein stuff, guys, it's darker than that. It goes so much darker than that. Not only that, there is a lot more people involved than you think. It's not just some celebrities. It's not just a few. I'm not saying it's all, but if we threw a percentage in, it would probably disgust you. The pizza stuff, that's very real. That was always real. A lot of other things were real that have been wiped under the rug. Yeah, it's overwhelming when you look at just the big picture of it all. So what can we do about it? How can we go about our lives waking up in a corrupt system and realizing, holy shit, everything's so screwed up? How can we go about our lives? I think we should learn the lessons they never did. And what is that? I think acting from love and being in the present moment, accessing God inside of you. You're not separate from nature. You're a part of nature. So accessing and opening yourself to love and being aware so that when those negative thoughts do creep in or those negative ideas, we can be the observer, the witness, rather than act on impulses, which can take us in a direction that our awareness does not want to go. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Is it going to be easy? No, it's going to get harder. I can guarantee it. Are things going to get darker in this world? Absolutely. I have this belief that during this awakening that we're going through, every skeleton that has been hidden will come to light. I think darkness never stays dark for long. I think we will get a sense and a big picture of what's really been going on. And a lot of people are going to be pissed. Not only pissed, if we go back to the movie The Matrix, when Neo wakes up, when he really has his awakening and Morpheus shows him everything that's going on, his brain almost blows out because he's so overwhelmed. I think there's some real truth to that. I think a lot of people are going to go through some psychotic mental breakdowns, and who can blame them? They've been programmed a certain way. We've all been programmed a certain way, and it took me a long time to get to this point now where I can actually just sit down and talk about it. There were periods there where I honestly thought I was losing it, and if you're going through that and you're afraid and you feel isolated and you're learning about reality and what's happening, then yeah, you're going to feel like you're losing your marbles while everyone around you is, asleep, or they just don't care, or it's hard. It's really hard. But just always remember that you are not alone. You're a part of the big picture, and it will be okay. Just hold love in your heart. Do the best that you can. Try to be the best human you can for others around you. it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out for you. And just abstain from darkness as much as you can. All right, guys, that's me.